Two and one. The time is now 1:05 EST AM, um, March 13th, Sunday. This is 2012's Honorable Mentions with Ken Mide, Chris Kennard, Living Abstraction, Arkentel, aka Alore. The tweet is going out. It is posted. Hello, my friend. How are you today?
It is so great to be here again for the fort. I mean, kind of last,
We'll see.
but
We'll
also
see.
not. Yeah, hopefully not
If
last.
we haven't run out of steam by like 2:30, we'll probably get through everything.
Okay, but yeah, I look. It has been so great being on this wonderful journey with this guy right here, who I remain thankful for pitching this idea to me and us like being able to come up with this and the episodes we have done in the past. The episodes we have done in the past, and hopefully more episodes we can do in the future. But I like once again, Chris, his channel, it's just such a consistently great, passionate channel with a lot of cool, lovely people on it, and I am thankful to have been given this opportunity to be a part of that. So once again, so like much love to the man himself, Mr. Kennard. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this.
It is my honor and pleasure, sir. One of my faves on this website, Juju F, one of our beloved Zoomers, they just dropped a video detailing their top 20 best albums from 2020, and I want to ride their coattails. So that may have to be our next mission when we get through this.
Top 20.
So I figured maybe like
I'm
I'll
down.
do 10, you do 10, and we'll just like see where the and like we'll build a playlist like one song from every album. You know what I'm saying? Just to give like the audience something to like dig their teeth into, because a lot of great stuff came out a couple of years back, and so
Yes.
much cool stuff is coming out now. If you go into the doobly doo of this particular stream, you'll see a new single by Latifa here in Philly, and
Mm-hmm.
Stale Green by Rose Lens over in Maryland, where Alora is at. And
Mm-hmm.
you'll also find a hyperlink for some mutual aid on Twitter. If you find, if you could just like retweet that, like the post, maybe put some money in that person's pocket, that'd be super. We have 12 more songs, 6 from me, 6 from Abstract. So who'd you go first? You or me?
Well, you've been leading the way with this so far, and it's been a wonderful rhythm with what you've been doing, and I see no reason to change that right now. And between you and me, the song that you have uh picked is a way big attention grabber because I
Oh, the
can't
first
think
one.
yes, I can't think of a certain musical act, whether that best describes the 2010s than these guys, and by all means, this is such a great song and a great act to start this list with.
You know what? Like, how can I say no after you say things like that? There was once a racialized black person with no hair upon their head and a bushy beard, and repeated the words, "It goes, it goes, it goes, it goes, it goes." And from that moment forward, the World Wide Web was introduced to the chaos that was the Death Grips. If I may tell a cute little story about Death Grips,
Hmm.
um, like Aylor and I were from the DMV, and a lot of our mutual friends, like say Mr. Rolando, if you know him,
Hmm.
Big Deegs, if you will.
Yeah, I
He and I,
love
he,
shout out
he,
to him, love him,
the
love that
king.
man. It's bit though it's been a while since we've last hung out, but yo, D man, I love you. I look forward to hanging out with you again. I'm glad, and I'm always glad whenever I hear about how much you live in life. Man, I love you, man.
Yeah, the GOAT. Only
Mhm.
person who's not in this stream with better music taste than us both, arguably. But him, myself, and somebody else, we were like, yo, let's get tickets and go see Death Grips. And we didn't at the time utilize the importance of grabbing tickets online. They were going to, I believe, open for Ministry at
Mhm.
I'm what DC venue was this? Um, it's the one right next to the Metro. I can't think of
Oh,
it.
which
How is this?
red line?
It's,
Is it on the red line or on the yellow
I
or green?
think I think it's on the yellow.
Yeah, because I think I know what you're talking about. Is it like by is it like by Mount Vernon?
I think it might be.
Yeah. I like because
On the tip of my tongue.
I don't think it's the capital. I don't think it's the capital, but
No.
it's close
You
to
know what?
it.
We're gonna sort this out right now because it's killing me. I
Yeah.
have to find out right now. I'm pulling up maps on my phone, and I know it's next to the Black Hat because I've been there
Okay.
before.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's around the corner from the Black Hat.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It should. Yeah. It should be.
Oh my god. Okay. It's like there's a certain club you can join to get like goodies from them.
Hmm.
Wow. 930 Club.
Yes.
930
Yes.
Club. And
Nine
so
thirty.
they're gonna play the 930 Club with Ministry as the opening act. And I'm like, I'll do anything to see Death Grips. So like I pulled
Hmm.
the money, or rather the three of us pulled the money together. And I'm like, yo, Deeks, let's hop on the train, go buy these fucking tickets. And so we go to the club and we're like, 3 tickets for Death Grips Ministry, please. And they're like, yeah, them shits are sold out. And I'm like,
Because
oh,
yes,
of course it was, obviously.
of
Ministry, legendary
course.
band, Death Grips, like setting the world on fire. You know what I mean? So we took
Hmm.
that money and went to a restaurant and just had a nice lunch. But, like Death Grips, like the the patron saints of one, Anthony Fantano, the needle drop, the melon himself, best teeth in the game. Fuck you, Anderson Paak. Um, gave his first 10 to this album where the song is from. The song is Hustle Bones.
Hmm.
Like this was like the one release by Death Grips on a major label. Man, like around this time, they were going to open for 9 Inch Nails, and who knows what would have happened to this band had they done so. Personally, I respect the fact that they didn't do it. I'm so like
Yeah.
thankful for
How come
them.
they? Yeah. How come they didn't though?
Who
But
the fuck
go.
knows? Nobody fucking knows. Like
Oh.
chalk it up to like artistic integrity.
Okay.
Like it's like, so if I can go on a bit of a rant, there's this
Please.
man in the music industry known as Machine Gun Kelly, and
Mhm.
let's just call a spade a spade. He's a talented musician. He's a talented rapper, maybe a subpar singer, a decent guitar player, right? Maybe
Mhm.
even a decent writer, maybe.
Yes.
And so like, but he has he has this chip on his shoulder. For what? I don't know why. And I'm just like, man, if you weren't so antagonistic and maybe apologize for all the shitty things you said and done in your long career, maybe people will be giving, because like, yeah, you've done songs with Willow, Ed Sheeran, Bring Me the Horizon. We still don't respect you. We still don't like you. Maybe if you
Mhm.
stop taking the piss out of everybody around you, we'd be willing to give you a chance. Aylor, this man, MGK, has a stake in the company Liquid Death. They like do water and shit. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that brand. I think it's cool. Like, I love heavy metal.
Mhm.
So, like, of course, I'm drinking heavy metal water. Knowing that he
Yes.
has a stake in the company is going to keep me from spending 1 red cent on that brand ever again. That's how much I dislike this dude. That's how unlikable he's doing. Like, I should be happy that Megan Fox is getting married, but she's getting married to that dude, and I'm not. I'm annoyed. I'm a hater, and so
Yeah.
that pisses me off. On the
Yeah.
other side of the coin, we have like these like rambunctious upstarts in Death Grips, MC Ride, Zach Hill, Flatlander,
Mhm.
these maniacs. Like, are doing what MGK wish he was doing. They're like upsetting the apple cart. They're pushing the envelope. They're changing the landscape of what noise, industrial, hip hop, rock sounds like. You drummers wish they were as talented as Zach Hill. That's just a fucking fact. Not everybody can be in a Noob Sastry, like a Matt Garska, like a Mike Mangini. You know what I'm saying? Like the Rev,
Mhm.
Neil Peart.
Yes.
Because those guys are gods. Let's keep it real. But
Mhm.
Zach Hill, he's a demon from another dimension when he
Yo,
gets on that
yo,
kit.
absolutely, absolutely.
Like, if you haven't heard Hella, I highly
Mhm.
encourage you to do so if you just want your brain to pour out of your ears at the sheer talent of this man. MC Ride, like, I just like, I, I have so much respect for the work he's done. Like, as far
Mhm.
as like being like a racialized black man in music and not giving a fuck. Like, nobody doesn't give a fuck the way that like MC Ride does. Yes, like there
Yeah.
is JPEG, but like that's cursed. Like making that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
comparison.
yeah,
Let's not.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
specifically said not to do that, and
Yeah,
so like
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
respect that. But he's probably the only person I know who does like who does this music shit that's like MC Ride. That just like
Yeah.
literally just throws everything at the wall and putting it out for the world to see.
Yeah.
And like, like Flatlander, I know like the least about you, but like I know that those sonic environments are your doing, and I respect you and thank you for that. Like, I have not, I could spend the entire like hour and a half will be here just heaping praises upon this band, and like a song like Hustle Bones is a perfect example of that. Like literally, he like MC Wright starts the song up by saying, "Give a fuck what you heard." You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
just like the way that like the beats just like bounce off like the walls like in your ears, like it does not leave you a moment to catch your breath. It's taking no prisoners, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I honestly feel like the what we're hearing on like Hustle Bones is like a precursor to hyper pop, considering the way that Sophie
Mhm.
crafted the snares on like the songs that Sophie was making. You get me?
Yes,
And
yes.
so like
And RIP Sophie,
we miss you very
we miss you
much,
so
and we hope
much,
you are
you
watching
know.
out for us over
Yes.
in the ether. Like,
Yes.
may Sophie's name be praised for all time. But just
Indeed.
man, oh man, like just like
Yeah.
just like step into a different like step into like the wild side when you put on a
Yeah.
song like Hustle Bones. Like
Yeah.
I've said enough. Like, Aylor,
Yeah.
when you hear this song, like
Uh,
what's happening to your brain when you hear
oh,
this song?
y- and man, Death Grip is just like such a frantically magical band. And look, and the lane that Death Grips is in, which, this kind of industrial meets punk rock meets hip hop, it's not, I won't say it's not completely uncharted territory, because industrial hip hop has, I would say, it's been a thing since like the late 90s, early 2000s. Shout out to Dialect, though spelled Dalek. I mean, Filthy Tongues is a completely slept on, underrated album of that era. Like, truly, like, really a crew that understood how he melded industrial and hip hop in a way when it was, it was pretty much considered sacrilege back then. You have groups like Dialect. You have Saul Williams, who like was already on that, who was also on that wave.
Yes.
Though, and he's still releasing some cool stuff now. Though I will always say that his most prolific record, his arguable magnum opus, was 2008's The Rise and Liberation of Niggy Tardust, produced by Mr. Nine Inch Nails himself, who has gone on, who was a beloved figure in that scene before, and he's gone on to do some stuff since then, which I don't need to go into. So yeah, like I said, there's dialect, there's Saul Williams, there's Clipping. Hey, my man,
Fucking
my
flipping.
yes,
What you gonna do about it?
yeah,
Ain't nothing to do about it. Man,
and
we don't have the time for that shit. We go out the
yeah,
time
yeah,
to keep
okay,
flipping.
and these guys, and then you just have a crew like Death Grips, who even in this vast world, is been able to take this sound, make it their own. It is so incredibly at times chaotic, but by no means does it feel, is there this kind of hipper than thou cynicism about it. It's made by people who just genuinely want to go into this far off place, not so much to piss you or me off, but just because it's like they see the possibilities. And I mean, and I think Death Grips has kind of also become a meme, because they got the Fantano cosign and stuff like that, and by no means, industrial hip hop is by no means close to becoming mainstream, but it's getting more attention. Once again, shout out to Peggy, and
You thinking about me?
a year later, belo- uh, beloved, at least at the time, and in a way still now, hip hop artist by the name of Mr. West would also release an album that was
Oh right. I guess Yeezus, I guess it
it
was.
it gets compared to Death Grips a lot. I don't think it should. I don't think it should,
I
but
would
I
make the argument that
understand.
I would make the argument that it does deserve, because like I feel like it's like, okay, so like disregarding everything about Ye to come in the future, but
Hmm.
just like, again, like the reason why I love Death Grips is because it's a disruption. It's
Yes.
like you'll never hear Death Grips talked about in the barbershop. But I guarantee you, in 2012, those old heads were confused as fuck when they heard Kanye play New Slaves on Saturday Night Live in
Oh
Black
yeah.
Skinhead. Because my
Yeah.
father, God rest his soul, was pissed. He was really, really mad about that shit. And he
Oh,
didn't
oh yeah.
understand. And like I did, but there was no way we were going to have a conversation about that. Listen, and like just to like save you all the time, Dissect on Spotify did an incredible, masterful job describing why Jesus works like in every conceivable way.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of those lyrics have not aged well whatsoever, but oh my
They
fucking
didn't even
God,
age well then. They didn't even age well
that's
then. Like,
100% the truth.
yeah,
But I'll
you
tell you
know,
something, motherfucker. Like, when I heard about the conviction of the cop that killed Mike Brown, the only thing that was playing in my head was the beat from Blood on the Leaves. That's all I want to say about that. Please continue,
yes,
sir.
yeah. So really now, and once again, I know it's kind of Death Grips is also kind of a meme now, because the Fantanos cosign, and you know music you play when you want to scare the hose, and stuff like that. And I'm like, I get it, but you just can't deny the extensive, like, just imagine the passion, the imagination that these guys have always had, but is on such full display on Money Store. I mean, you have tracks that have become these classics, you know, the fever, Blackjack, once Hustle Bones, and I always
Lost
adored
Boy.
the Cage.
Lost Boy.
You know,
Lost Boy.
you know, so, it's just, and it's like, and I think, in time we were always bound to get something like a Death Grips, especially, considering those people I'd already mentioned before, Saul Williams and Dialect. But man, I am just so thankful that we got these guys when we did, and the music world has not been the same ever since. And I want these guys to keep on, and by all means, these guys are the real deal. Like I hear so many stories of how like out there like MC Ride is in like in person. Like he's a cool guy, but like you but like apparent but like I remember a story I heard of like him going to a Subway and ordering a sandwich, but he didn't want meat on it. It was just bread bread and lettuce, and he kept on meat, and he would always go there every day to every day to get that sandwich. And the person there was like, please stop buying Death Grips music so he can no longer afford to come to Subway and piss me off.
Oh my god.
Okay, but but those guys have always been a real deal, and I feel like even though like even I feel like the world has noticed. I mean, the world has noticed in some way. If whether or not Yeezus ripped off Dead Grips, which I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that.
No,
I think there's more than enough space
no.
for influences and contemporaries, whether they be major. I mean, I'd argue even Beyonce's Lemonade, though not like directly influenced by Death Grips. I don't think you get an album without her in some way acknowledging that the weird sphere that music has gone in the 2010s, that
Oh,
is
oh, conspiracy,
being
conspiracy, conspiracy.
uh-huh.
I hate to cut you off, but
Yeah.
so the Batman, aka Robert Pattinson, would
Hmm.
go on to have a guitar credit on a future Death Grips album.
Yes,
And
yes.
we know this because a picture surfaced of our
Hmm.
Pat with Beyonce.
Yes, yes,
And I would
yes.
like to think that if they had any semblance of a conversation, like in the
Hmm.
same way that our Pat mansplained Final Fantasy VII to his co-star, that he
Yes.
probably just had a brief conversation with Beyonce about Death Grips and what they were up to. And they definitely put someone in the car home, and Hope was like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?"
Yes, yes, yes. And once again, I don't and I think it's stuff like that that just really shows that how like okay, like you will, we're never in light of a recent musical performance that people really love, we're never going to see Dead Grips headline a Super Bowl halftime show. But I am glad that they're getting more and more attention, and we can look back at stuff like the Money Store for the quality that it is. And like long live Dead Grips, Money Store forever. I love you guys. I love you guys.
I also want to make a brief shout out to the rapper Backwash from Canada,
Mhm.
who has this one release whose just title I love to say, 'cause it's so fire. Shout out to her. Um, um, what's it called? Where is it? Yeah, I think it's on her 2021 album. No, it may not be on streaming because I think it's a legit mixtape. Hang on just one second.
Mhm.
Um, oh well, okay, but I want to make a shout out to Backwash for her release. I lie here, bird my rings and my dresses, because
Mhm.
I know I saw her name because she had a release called, I think, Leave God Out of This. He had nothing. Leave God Out of This. He has nothing to do with it. And I feel like
Mhm.
the emergence of a Death Grips made made a carved out a dirt road for her to walk down and receive prestigious honor in Canada. So I hope hear more from her, and especially from Death Grips. In regard to MC Ride and shit, he's one of when people say don't meet your heroes. I don't want to meet MC Ride. I want nothing to impede the next step of his creative journey. You know what? In the same way that like the frontman from like Cerebral Ballsy became like a fine art painter and stuff like that. Whatever like MC Ride brings into the world, like I want nothing to impede it. And even if it means him walking away from Death Grips, like he deserves peace and happiness. You know?
When you say that, it's like I think it just goes into how I think you can make the argument that MC Ride might be hip hop's answer to Captain Beefheart.
Oh, that's a great pull. I
Yes,
completely
yes,
fucking agree with you.
yes.
Man, shout out to Captain Beefheart. What a great artist. What a legend.
Yes, yes. One of the greatest. I think it's been like 13 years since he left us. Captain Beefheart forever, man. But once again, but yes, Captain Beefheart forever, MC Ride forever, Dead Grips forever. It's where it's at, man.
Yeah. Um, Tell me about Tim Fight. Let me just get straight
Okay,
into it. He's the
okay.
I want to see the like of everything that we've seen here. Tim Fight and one other artist are the only people who I don't know. And even looking at his bio on
Ah,
Spotify, I'm like,
yeah.
who the heck is this Joker? Like, and like
Okay.
this, and like the song is it's I like the writing and I like how stripped
Yeah.
back it is because I immediately identified with like the material. So give me the
Mhm.
rundown on him. Who is he?
Okay, Tim Fight is a very definitely a product of my complete teenage years in that once again full on hipsterdom. Okay, so Tim Fight was originally got his start as a rapper. He went I think he went by he was part of a crew called Little T and One Track Mike. And funny enough, I jeez. And I know of these guys because shout out to the great cinematic classic Osmosis Jones,
Wow.
which if okay, I kid you not, in every like VHS and DVD of Osmosis Jones came a sampler CD of all the cool
Dude.
Atlantic artists at the time. And you got three full tracks, but you got a bunch of snippets. Craig David, Ray J, and one of them, Little T. Okay, geez, shoot, I'm like so Little T and One Track Mike,
I see it.
Fome Zdape, Fome Zdape. And okay, they were never like even dead. They were kind of considered a bit of like a kind of like a joke hip hop crew. Like the stuff you like, their only kind of hit was this song called "Shaniqua Doesn't Live Here No More," which is this kind of funny song about oh hey oh hey this guy keeps on calling our house. And it's like, hey, is Shaniqua here? It's like no, Shaniqua doesn't live here anymore. And like this was very much a like a frat guy comedy rap song, but by all means. But what really sold those guys was just they really like they wanted to be funny, but they also you could kind of get those hints of like they no these guys do love hip hop a lot. These guys do love hip hop, and I will recommend Fome is Dape if you're like if you want to like hey Zoomer kids, if you want to know what like the many facets of what hip hop in the early 2000s was. I mean, yes, we had our Jay-Z's and our P. Diddy's and stuff like that, but there was also just a bunch of like poppy, wacky stuff. Feel free to listen to that. In fact, I can possibly see the Zoomers reclaiming Little T and One Track Mike. But that rant aside, so those fortunately or unfortunately, the album doesn't really do well. Those guys break up. Tim Fight ends up kind of reinventing himself as this kind of alternative folk indie hip hop guy, and and you have all and he releases and he's just releases these barrage of songs, some personal, some political, but all very much having this kind of like wacky distinct humor. I mean, very and I look back fondly at this time, look at the stuff he did at this time. But though I will admit it's kind of dated. I mean, Camouflage, which is a very political song, very anti-Iraq war song, but it's a song you could only really have done during the Bush administration.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's also from that, then there are also really nice personal songs like Thought I Was a Gun and stuff like that. But it's in this time that he releases probably some of his most seminal works, such as 2005's Gone Ain't Gone, 2008's Fear Ain't Fear, and the final album from that trilogy, for which this song is on, Ain't, which, yeah, he was really soft. And okay, and we are all teenagers. Of course, this was very special to me at the time because it literally came out as I was in my final year of being a teenager. And what I like about this song, it is this very it is this very like a song that a lot of songs exist like this, about getting older and trying to see if you can reconcile the person you wanted to be when you were younger, with the person you are about to become. And there's certain artists who, when they delve into these subjects, are much more bittersweet. Shout out to Frank Ocean. We're not the kids we used to be. And also shout out to Kanye West. We're still the kids we used to be. Whichever one's right, I still do not know. You know,
Joke's on
but
you, we're still alive.
yes, but yeah, but we're all teenagers. I think it's one of those songs that really represents that transition in your life. And if you've seen the music, if you've seen a music video, it is also just about that reconciliation of like, obviously we're getting older. Obviously we can't control that, but who do we become? Who do we become? Like, do we even become people we recognize? Because, and you've seen this one. You've seen the not to go delve into films, but you've seen this one screenshot from the film My Dinner with Andre, right?
Yes,
Uh,
numerous times.
Yes, yes, yes. Which I'm about to
Please do.
show you guys. This seminal
Do you
scene
mind reading
here.
it for the audience so they
Okay,
can see?
yes, yes. When I was young, all I thought about was art and music. Now I'm 36. All I think about is money, which 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 is really
Tragic
just,
stuff.
yeah. And it is the very scary nature of getting older, and of what you leave behind. And how, maybe, and I'll say maybe, with just how connected our culture is, our generation is going to really kind of fight to keep those things that we loved when we were younger. But it's also that acknowledgement that, that magic, the magic that was once like very, very easy, that is very easy, very second nature when we're teenagers, when we're in our early 20s. It does get harder to recapture. It does get hard to recapture when as we get older, and it's unfortunate. But I don't think that means we shouldn't try, though. And I think that's what Tim Fight understood. And like I said, that was a song that came out in my last year as a teenager. And I thought about it when I was no longer one. And years later, I still don't know where I fit in this world. Fortunately, unfortunately enough. But maybe, but going back and listening to that song is just like, yeah, I really though I don't know where I fit in this world, I'm still there's still something worth fighting for me at least. And I don't see, maybe there'll be a time to give up on that, but I can't give up now.
Not
Not
today.
now. So yeah, much love to Tim Fight,
Little
who
T.
is still doing stuff. Once again, the day a Little T and One Track Mike reunion happens, once again, irony. Zoomers who are really, really in deep with your irony in music, like check out that Little T and One Track Mike album. It was something. It was definitely something. But thank you. But thanks so much for letting me talk about Tim Fight. And I guess it's now time we head to a song that we had
It's so
talked.
funny. It's
Yeah.
so funny
Mm-hmm.
because like,
Yeah.
you say that little T and one track Mike's thing was something, right?
Yeah.
Let's move to a song that's everything.
Indeed. Indeed. Indeed.
The song is "Everything Is Embarrassing" by Sky Ferreira, brought to us by the great Dev Hines, aka of Test Icicles, Lightspeed Champion, and Blood Orange.
Yes.
To all the white women who fetishize R&B that aren't like Elise Trow or Yeba or Charlotte Day Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
do your homework. Listen to this song 1,000 times before you even think of calling Erica Badu or Questlove to produce your shit.
Ah, man. Like
This
this.
fucking
Yeah.
song, bro. You go ahead. Go
Yeah.
in, please.
Okay. All right. And once again, and to the white women who want to be down with the R&B scene, I have to this day only heard like one song this year, made by a white woman, that got the cosign of Mr. Raphael Sadiq. But I think I should save talking about it, going into detail about it, till like the end of this year, when if possible, just shooting it out there, Mr. Kennard, you
Year
and
in
I,
review.
yeah, we talk.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's get to it.
We talk about that
Hell
stuff.
yeah.
But
22
but
songs,
yeah,
22. Let's get it. But
yeah.
also I also want to shout out
Mhm.
the the incomparable Napalm of Hiatus Coyote and even Jesse J, honestly.
Yes,
Let's
yes,
give
yes.
credit where credit is due. Like,
Hmm.
hell, even like Queen Herbie from Carmen. Like, just
Hmm.
like artists who understand the assignment without it being Tori Kelly.
Hmm.
Come on, like just artists who understand the assignment without it just being like insulting, if you will.
Yes,
Shit,
yeah.
even who was that one British shorty who can hold a tune? Uh,
Duffy.
well, shout out to Duffy because Duffy's a
Yeah,
queen.
yeah.
Um, Paloma Faith,
Yes, yes, yes.
the
I
one who's
believe
saying
that.
only love can hurt like this. I bangs with
Yes.
her. I bangs with her too. She's got some vocals. But bruh, Sky Ferreira, oh man.
Yeah, yeah. So I talk. Yeah. What is your history with? What's your history with Sky?
What's my
Because
history, Sky Ferreira?
yeah,
Bruh.
because
Okay,
I
so
remember.
like just to expose myself right here on the stream, I am
Hmm.
a young person going to the Broadcasting Institute of Maryland, and
Hmm.
like the music video for Obsession and One
Yes, yes.
are doing numbers on MTVU, and I'm like, who is
Uh
this?
huh.
Because I think I'm a fan, and
Uh
so
huh.
I'm just following, and I'm to this day still following. Like I feel like Sky Ferrer was just like that one singer who was always in the room but wasn't really given her fair due. Cause like I love songs like "You're Not the One," like that's a banger of a song.
Yes, absolutely.
Like she had like that feature with G Dragon of Big
Hmm.
Bang popularity. Was in that
Hmm.
one horror movie.
Hmm.
I forget the name of it. And then
Uh,
was like
Green Inferno, I think it
Green
was.
Inferno, which I
Yeah,
saw in
yeah.
theaters, and that was terrifying. And
Hmm.
the brief cameo in Baby Driver.
Hmm.
she was everywhere. Like, huge
Hmm.
fan. Like, I honestly, I've been a fan since the beginning. But like, once those two singles, like Obsession and One, hit the air, like hit like once I saw them, I'm like, oh, they're in here. Like, I'm a fan. Like that one record was such a precursor to just like the indie tronica boom for like your Fantagrams, your Purity Rings, your
Hmm.
Beach House, even, I dare say.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like just always in the room, but never on like center stage. Had a joint with Charlie XCX, which I still have not heard to this day, honestly. But just like, oh, if Sky's on the song,
Dog.
I'm gonna save that shit because I'm a
Mhm.
fan, man. Like I'm a fan. Well, I might say a stan even, honestly. Big fan.
Yeah, yeah, and you just hit the nail on the head. It hit it because I remember, because I think like the first track I remember from her, I think it's like 17 was like was it was a track called 17. You know, she's only 17, and yes, and then there was Obsession, which I think she's gone on the record saying like either she hated the video or she hated the song because this was like
Wouldn't be
back when her
surprised.
yeah, but this was back when her record label was kind of like really like she is a pop artist, but they were trying to like
Not
really
that kind of pop artist.
micromanage it, and even and I was like, and I remember hearing like Obsession and just being like, all right, okay, this track is cool, but I really think she is like capable of like
There's something
something
here.
that's like it's like all right, but like she's not there yet, but like but yo there's something. And
Just y'all wait.
then you know and then she did this other track which I can't even remember the name of it, but it had a really weird music video where she's like in her underwear and she's like smearing lipstick on herself. I don't I can't even
Oh, wait a
remember it.
minute. I think I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about too.
Yeah, like it's like big girl or something like that. Something like that.
Red
Your
Lips.
number. Yes, red lips, red
That was
lips.
from the Ghost EP,
Uh,
yep, which is where this song is
yes,
from. Because I
yes,
remember, even Lost in My Bedroom, that's a joint. Lost in My Bedroom is a
yeah, yeah.
joint.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and okay, and then everything's embarrassing. I remember hearing that and just being like, okay, yeah,
This
this
is
is
it. This
this
is the
this is
path
it.
that
Yeah.
like she should have gone down, but like we didn't like. I feel like if it weren't just like us nerdy hipsters listening to this shit,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
something could have like changed in her trajectory because we haven't gotten anything really since like because nighttime my time drops and then
Uh-huh.
we don't see or hear from her until 20 freaking 19 and we haven't since then. So Sky, if you're out there,
Yeah.
like if this is still something you really want, we're here for it. You
Yeah,
dig?
yeah, yeah, and believe me, I remember in 2014 when you dropped that album and you went on tour with with Miley Cyrus, and I was like,
Oh
okay,
my
this is
god,
this
dude.
is this is really like not trying to shade Miss Cyrus, but like this is it, but like everything bangers wanted to be your album was, but now we gotta get into that, but man, the song was amazing. Okay, okay, and to people who have listened to our previous talk in our first one when I was talking about Solange losing you, a song which Dev Hines had also co-written. This one, and I'm trying to look for the article, but but yes, this and everything's embarrassing and losing you were both about Hines falling out of a relationship with a person, and these both kind of represent those lingering feelings of like, hey, look, I really want this thing to work out. I think I'm putting a lot of effort into this thing. I do not feel that effort being returned. I feel really conflicted because I think we can work this out, but I think one of us wants this to work out more than the other. And it's amazing how those that same sentiment in those two different songs, and and there's a reason why I ended up putting Solange on that, is that I loved what she brought to that, but there's something also to be said about what Sky brings to it. With Solange, with Losing You, she definitely brings that soul, that soulfulness,
The indie soul.
that adventureness into that, which is very clear in her vocal inflections, like one once again, never I never have and never will, and you should never sleep on Solange. And then there's what Sky brought to Everything's Embarrassing, which it's this iciness, it's
It's that
this,
post AD
yeah,
sound.
yes, it's kind of deadpan, which also works because yeah, it is about being in that place where you don't know how, where you feel like you've said all that you really can say to a communication just feels so dead, and it leaves you in this kind of just whacked out emotional place, which once and Sky just did so amazingly.
In the bag.
And
Very casual.
yeah, yeah, and and you do feel, and you d- and it is that marriage between Dev's words and Sky's attitude, as well as his production, which once again, like everything that Mr. Hines would prove with in both of his collaborations with Solange and Sky, which it will go even further a year later with Cupid Deluxe, you know, which beautiful album. And I like, really, once again, if you hey kids, hey kid, well, to futures who will probably discover this video decades from now, like, really, if you want to know how the music scene kind of felt like around that time, I highly recommend what Sky Fiera brought in. This. Yeah.
Like one thing really jumps out about me about Everything's Embarrassing is again that just very like 80s worship production
Hmm.
that we see in songs now, like say um New Shapes by Christine and the Queens, Charlie XCX, and Caroline from Chairlift. I'm not gonna attempt to say her last name because I'm gonna fuck it up. Caroline P.
Hmm.
The You're So Hot, You're Hurting My Feelings singer.
Hmm.
Big fan of her too. Um, it's like when I think about like where Dev's coming from with these songs and like him, I guess doing a not cringy version of what Robin Thicke would do with Paula, one would get the one might make the presumption that Dev Hines is not a good person, like Block Party on 4 with the song
Yes.
We Are Not Good People. If I may just like get on my soapbox for 1 minute so I
Hmm.
can tell Kayleigh how much it's so fucking funny. It's like I'm always that guy who's like, oh, like Lenny Kravitz isn't really doing anything for me as a black person who loves rock and metal. And the whole fucking time, Kayleigh is right there with his guitar, singing his emo songs across the pond, making some of the best, like, British invasion indie rock the world has ever fucking seen. And like, he is ignored completely. I get lost in the beauty of like Tosin Abasi's guitar work, and I
Hmm.
completely because like before I ever discovered Animals as Leaders,
Hmm.
Block Party was right there.
Hmm.
I got into Block Party super fucking late, like everybody else via Guitar Hero 3 with Helicopter. But
Yes.
Silent Alarm is a perfect fucking album. One might even make the observation that all three of those first three Block Party albums do such tremendous work.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened between half of the band when they split after this album. But
Yeah.
frankly, I hold Kayleigh 100% responsible. To be honest, there's I don't have the whole story. It's not
Yeah.
my business. But
Yeah.
I don't feel like you leave a band like Block Party on anything petty. I feel like there is something, and I feel like at the structure of those four men, something was wrong, and I hold it to Kayleigh's feet.
Yeah.
Because like,
And
no, because I don't know Russell. I don't know his hand
yeah.
in it. But like,
Yeah.
Block Party is Kayleigh's band. And like what
Yeah.
made that band so special was the bassist backing vocals and
Hmm.
Matt Tongs in fucking sane drumming.
Exactly.
Insane. One of the greatest
Exactly.
drummers of all time. Put him up there with Zach Hill, as far as I'm fucking concerned.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
fucking Christ. I love Block Party more than I can stand myself. And like those songs mean so much to me.
Oh
And
yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Hey
it's
man. Hey man.
it makes you so angry knowing how
Yeah.
much like like weirdo black kids saying they're not represented and like they don't
Uh-huh.
have any music to listen to or whatever the fuck. Like we really should have just like it's the way that America makes sure that weirdo black kids like us don't find each other fast enough to share our interests. It's the reason why artists like Fifi Dawson don't like receive their flowers until now
Yes.
at the
Yes.
other
And
at the half of their career where it doesn't even matter as much because now it's all on the internet. You can find it if you
yeah.
care enough to look. But at a time when we didn't have that kind of shit, where we had that one friend who had more access to things like this, has that
Yeah.
fucking Silent Alarm CD, has like the access to the remix albums that they put out on some Bjork shit.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh my Christ,
Beautiful.
dude! Like
The Silent
this.
Alarm remix. Yeah. It's beautiful. And my relationship with
Go ahead.
Block Party. Yeah, I think it goes back to like like I think I first discovered them like around like oh 06. Like I think one of the members of Good Charlotte were playing their music on
No
an
shit.
MTV playlist. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like seriously,
Wow.
like yeah, yeah. And of course, by this time, oh 06, I was like well off the Good Charlotte bandwagon, but my brother wasn't. But I saw the video for Banquet. I was like, whoa, 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 who are these guys? And whoa, 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 a black lead singer in an indie rock band, and this
Inconceivable.
yeah, and of course, and this was back when and I was already on the indie scene and everything. I was all like, yo, the Strokes and
Yeah, yeah,
everything,
yeah. That's his shit.
yeah, exactly. And I was just like, whoa, wait, hey man, I gotta check these
Representation.
guys. Yeah, I gotta check these guys out. And I listened to Silent Alarm. I loved it. I absolutely adored it. Though I will say, Weekend in the City is probably one of the most special albums
Ooh,
ever. That
yes,
is,
bro.
man, that
The
is,
prayer, bruh.
yes. I still remember that is oh man, that is a song that has cursed me because
Oh God.
that song came exactly like, I mean, dog,
If you
I was
know,
like
you fucking
14.
know.
Yeah, dog. I was going through that stuff, man. Like, geez. I still remember freaking Crossberg. Like those, like, what is this love? Why can I never hold it? Hold it. Those lyrics cursed me. I was listening to this thinking like, why is this man stalking me? And how does he know my deepest secrets? But yeah, uh but I have actually written about that album in the past, and one of these days I will share that writing with the world. But okay, but this isn't about their first album or their second album or their also pretty charming
Intimacy goes hard. Such a
third
good
album,
album.
Intimacy. But their fourth album, aptly titled Fourth, which yes is in what you were talking about with Gordon and Matt, is one of those, is a song that does kind of feel, maybe it wasn't intended to be so, but it does feel like a farewell because this would end up being the last album with the original lineup with Kelly, Russell, Gordon, and Matt. And yes, so true to what you said. The magic of that band in those first four albums, it was Gordon. It's Gordon on bass, also supplying like additional vocals. It's Matt completely being on it, and you feel, and I guess in a way, listening to "We're Not Good People," which I do believe is the final track on the album. It's like that. It's feeling that last bit of magic. I mean, okay, maybe I
So
shouldn't
punk.
compare it. It's like when you like listening to the Beatles, like the Beatles um Golden Slumbers and that whole thing, and how those final few tracks on Abbey Road, and how you feel like this is the band knowing that this might be the last time they will ever play together, so they are like just trying to make every single second of it count. That is the same feeling. That's kind of the same feeling I get with these guys, with We're Not Good People, where it's like, okay, it's like okay, I have okay, we're all going in our own directions. Russell had already established his own band. No, sorry, not Russell. Gordon had already established his own band, the Young Legionnaires. Kelly had already released a solo album,
Tenderoni.
and so he yes, which by the way, I thought that was a lovely one. Okay, it wasn't Block Party, but I thought it was cool. So
Different, yeah.
yeah, so it was a miracle they even came back for one more album. And when this album came out, I was like, okay, obviously I didn't love it the way I loved Silent Alarm and Weekend, but I was just so overjoyed, like, wow, these guys, I don't think this is gonna last. I don't think this is gonna last. I'm just gonna savor the magic of it, savor the magic of this, and that magic comes in full display in Which We're Not Good People, which I guess in a way, in light of half of the band ended up leaving, and no disrespect to Justine and Louise, the replacement, who I've listened to
You
some of
girl
the
are
new
super
stuff.
good.
Yeah, I've listened to the new stuff they done. It's cool. It's cool. I dig it. I dig it. I wish I wish the band nothing but success in the future.
I
But
hope this works
I'm
out in the long run.
but I'm also going to be honest with myself as a fan that that you know that primary sense of of intimacy I felt with these songs, it ends here. It ends here. It was a beautiful ride. It was a lovely ride. And by the way, I still listen to new stuff. It's just I just go into it knowing that I'm not going to feel the same way I felt when I was 14. I'm not going to feel the same way I felt when I was 19. And it sucks, but I can rock. It is what it is. It is what it is. And that said, Kelly meant so much to me as as a black man, because black men in rock music. Yes, we have our examples, and we can always cling to Hendrix and Kravitz. Shout out to Living Color, Vernon Reed. You are a really cool. I've had some
Gary
really cool
Clark Jr.
conversations. Yes, shout out to Gary, who also was releasing some cool stuff this year that would end up winning Grammys and stuff like that. And yeah, we have our representation, but I feel like we're still in a war, like, and it's better now. It's better now, but like
Yeah,
even, but I remember the 2000s where it's like we had to fight. We had to fight to like justify our inclusion in this. I mean, and I know, some of you, and I know got folks who are going through it in the emo scene. I was going through it in the indie scene as well. I mean, I wouldn't say it was. I don't know if I could say it was as bad, because thankfully we also had TV on the radio. Shout out to those guys.
oh
You
man,
know,
yeah.
but I mean, thankfully it's I would say it's slightly better now, because there's more of an effort and a push to like say, oh yeah, hey, hey, black people who do rock music. No, 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 no. This no. Yes, we are interested in this music as well. We created this, but that's what But that's a rant for another day. And I think so a guy like him, who who was open, who was open about his open about his racial identity,
And his
open about,
sexual identity.
and his sexual identity. I thought that, I thought it was I thought it was great that, I thought, I thought it was great. I thought it was great, that, oh wow, hey, because keep in mind in like in '07 we didn't know, but it was kind of being whispered about.
And not till like
Is
the
he
EP
is
came
he
out.
is it yeah, it wasn't until he went solo that he officially came out, and when he did I was like, thank
Sick.
cool. Yeah, and and from a guy from like a relatively similar cultural background as myself, who was doing this kind of music, it meant so much to me. And for
It's real.
that,
It's tangible.
yeah, and for that, and thankfully those records being as great as they were, I will always be thankful for, for Block Party. And even if I don't consider myself as big a fan as I was in my teenage years, the goodwill, what that meant to me at that time will, like I'll never. I hope we can one day get the original crew reunited. But hey, what it is what it is. But hey, Gordon is with Young Legionnaires now. Matt is, I believe he's still with Algiers, and shout out to
No
Algiers.
shit. Okay, say
Yeah,
less.
yeah,
We're fine.
you know,
Everything is fine.
yes,
Everything is
but
fine.
but yeah, but teenage but yeah, but to teenage me, Block Party will always be a very meaningful group to my heart. And I think, and that magic of what made them so great in those first four albums is definitely on full display with We Are Not Good People, which, and I will always be thankful for that.
Song is great. It's super punk. I want to just like make time to shout out like artists like Alabama Shakes, Meet Me at the Altar, Kenny Hoopla, Action Adventure, Magnolia Park, Let Live, Fever 333. Like the rep is there, but like the connections aren't being made. Like to bring it back to MGK, which I hate to do, where's our representation in that specific market? Where
Hmm.
are black kids going to see black people with guitars deserving the like? No shade to Wayne, but Rebirth isn't very good. But for a while, we saw a very popular black musician holding a guitar. He's who
Hmm.
said, "I'm going to do this." Like he had enough clout and like money to say, "I'm going to hold this guitar and I'm going to skate on national television, and y'all
Hmm.
can't do anything to stop me." And
Hmm.
like, where is that for us?
Yeah.
The music is being made, and it's in great like shit. Even Black Pumas, it's like
Yeah.
the quality of the music is there, but like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
where's
Yeah. And
where's it
shout out to
all?
Black Kids. Yeah. Shout out to Black
Black
Kids who
fucking
also dance.
kids. Oh
Who
my
also,
god! I'm not gonna tell
yeah.
them how to teach your boyfriend how to dance with you. It's a fucking
Yeah.
classic. But like,
Yeah.
where's like the it's like it's too much of a niche thing for my liking when we it's like tolerated for
Hmm.
us when I think of like the structures of power and for like when's Charlemagne the God gonna bring on like prominent black rock guitars and not like ask them shitty questions.
Ish.
BET, like Bounce, Soul Train Awards, we all love talking about how much the Isley Brothers mean to like our music,
Yeah.
Chuck Berry and shit. But like,
Hmm.
we don't actually give a fuck about black rock. And I'm somehow that has to change. And if it's not like, it's annoying to know that we have to wait to like the previous generation to like pass on before that's like something that like that makes sense. Where like white people can have a favorite black musician that holds an instrument in their hand.
Hmm.
Like sure there are like a shit ton of like successful black drummers, bass players, classical chamber musicians, but like who who gets to be the next rock star? Like
Yeah.
Young Thug can put out a project called Punk, and I'm like, whoa, where's this gonna go? And it's just more of the stuff that he usually does. Fucking
Yeah.
Trippy Red can do that shit, but like again, too niche. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it works. It's
Yeah.
great, but like, it clearly isn't working well enough for me and for what I
Yeah.
want. Like, who's gonna be like the black equivalent of a Switchfoot or like a Ryan
Yes.
K?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
who's gonna bridge like Israel and New Breed? Sure, but like, dude wrote worship songs and he had an acoustic guitar and he was in white spaces. He was the
And you
crossing
know,
artist,
yeah.
and I'm thankful for him. But like,
Hmm.
who are we gonna like?
And
I can't wait to see what I like. We're so close. You know, it's
yes,
like
we really are.
I mentioned we are the meet me at the altar, especially because like
Hmm.
first it's like all girl black band fueled by, but like they aren't getting the fueled by treatment. If you ask me, videos
Hmm.
are great, songs are great, but the numbers, I'm not seeing the numbers.
Yeah.
Great tour placements, and like they're a
And
super young
yeah.
band, but it's just like sorry, like a band like that comes around, they're not going viral. No, something's not
Yeah.
clicking, and it's probably just obviously it's fucking racism and anti-blackness, but when like we need like we need a god sized bat to break that shit because like
Yeah. You know.
I need we need something like Beyonce level to just like make this a permanent new like from now on this is what we are and this is what we do and you don't question that shit. Oceans of Slumber, my god, dude.
Cody Chestnut, you know, who had once, you know, thankfully, like this time 20 years ago, got the Roots co-sign when they did their redone version of the C 2.0, which was originally the seed
I
from
remember this
his
shit.
album Headphone Masters, who like it was this who was this maverick
Fucking
for
D'Angelo and
indie
Vanguard.
indie music, lo-fi, soul. The album was so beloved, it got a co-sign from Tom York himself. And if you impress Tom York, you're onto something. And okay, yeah, all right, he stepped out from music for a while. He wanted to take care of his family, but like still he's been back. He came back in 2012. Like, where are his flowers, man?
Shit, it's a shame he's not on our list right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But speaking of just like weirdos in black music who like
Hmm.
are just super fucking cool, we have Thundercat's brother from another mother, the producing god himself, our new Jabez, our Dilla, Flying Lotus, and Putty Boy Strut. This is what all like the hipster girls twerk to. Okay, you put this on, cheeks are flying. You feel what I'm saying? Like they're putting that jaw on. They're hitting the headstand and just like
Yeah.
such a fun song. It's funny you mentioned like Tom York because he has a vocal credit on this album where it comes from.
Hmm.
The video is kind of scary, and if you like want some
Hmm.
like some like sci-fi like monster movie of a video to watch, and like you'll love how like the animation moves in tandem with the beat that you
Uh-huh.
hear. Just like again, like you know, black people, we gave you motherfuckers rock and roll and dance music, and
Hmm.
like it's a damn shame like DJs like Carl Cox and 12th Planet don't get the love and respect that a Flying Lotus gets. You know,
Hmm.
just like pushing the envelope. Like allegedly, there's this story of how Kendrick Lamar just pulls up into the studio, and while he's
Hmm.
working on, I'm not sure what project he's working on, but he hears the shit that Flylo is working on and takes all the beats and just gives him back one song, which becomes "Never Catch Me."
Hmm.
Just like the man is such a cool producer. I love that like he was Earl's DJ when he played Coachella that one year,
Hmm.
and like Tyler and Flylo played Tamale and restarted the song twice just so Tyler was like, "You have to move when I play this." And yeah, what is your connection with Flying Lotus? Because I heard him, thanks to my cool friends who have better taste than I do, put him into my world, and like every so often, like I have to just put on just like do the what's it called? The what's the one on like the album that comes out after this one? Like there's this
You're
one song.
dead. You're dead.
No,
Which
before you're dead, which is such a great
um
project by the way.
I think Until the Quiet, okay, the one that came before Until the Quiet Comes,
After
Cosmogramma.
Cosmogramma,
Yeah,
yeah,
Cosmogramma.
because
Yeah.
the songs like "Do the Astral Plane" and mean so much to me. It's like
Yeah.
wow, like you never heard shit like this ever in your life. And like
Yeah.
I thank Fly Low so much for starting his imprint and signing my like one of my favorite bands, Nowhere, to his
Hmm.
label and just like making like the Yasuke Netflix show and soundtrack. Just
Hmm.
if you ever get the chance, like if you've ever heard of Mark Rebier, he does like this stream with Reggie Watts and Fly Low, and they just like riff for an hour or so, just like making music like live and in person. It's so cool. Like just like Flying Lotus is a magician when like you consider like the magic he makes with his music.
Yeah. Okay. And this is, and I don't know if anyone's going to believe me when I say this, but I remember like first discovered Flying Lotus like around 2007. So, back when when I was 14. So, and it wasn't even like through Adult Swim. It was because like I kept on I was like so neck deep in the like underground alternative hip hop space that I remember like randomly coming across this one video, and I was like, and I love it, and I'm a huge, and I adore the works of Curtis Mayfield, and one of his, and outside of the Superfly soundtrack, which masterpiece. There's this one song called "The Makings of You," which is like, oh my god, I that is a song that I love, but I'm also kind of embarrassed to admit it because it speaks to all the very sentimental, like longing for love parts of myself that I don't that it's weird to talk, it feels weird to talk about at times.
Amen.
But Flying Lotus, he ends up taking that sample, Makings of You, into, and he turns it into this song, maybe he ain't lying, and it's clearly supposed to be like a tribute to like Jay Dilla, Jay Dilla
Ooh,
forever, Jay Dilla forever, and the beat is
donuts.
just, yeah, the beat is just so brilliant. It's like, so these are the makings of you, and before it can go into this, there's just this bumping brass and bass, boom, psh, boom, 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 boom. But you, da do 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 do. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Who is this? Who is this guy? Yo. I'm like, I mean, I hope he gets more attention, man. I mean, I really hope like we keep on talking about this Flying Lotus. I mean, and it was '07. We were still we're still mourning Jay Dilla. We're still mourning Jay Dilla now. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh, like, is this guy kind of trying to come into that space? Because like, hey man, like if hey man, you're clearly onto something. And thankfully, Lotus gets more love. Shout out to Adult Swim. Shout out, and he
Captain
just,
Murphy.
yeah, he keeps on doing all this cool stuff. I forget the name of this one song he did, but it was, the music video had like Elijah Woods in it. I forget the name of it, but it's like, but I think it's like Elijah Wood turns into like a cyborg or something like that.
Whoa.
And I have just loved his trajectory and his evolution, and I think it's with this song, and also with like a lot of the songs on the follow-up album You're Dead, which is what I really which represented something I really loved about it. It was that, yes, taking electronic elements, hip-hop elements, and also melding it with like free jazz, and it's like, oh my goodness, like okay, listening to the song, it's
Horace the
like,
Terminator.
and I was like, oh my goodness, jazz is going to continue to have a place in the 21st century, in the 2010s. I was like, thank you so much, Flying Lotus, man. So the imagination on that man is just so awe-inspiring, and he's just so consistently onto something, and I just continue to be blown away by it. I continue to be amazed by it. I mean, he is like there's so much stuff from Flying Lotus that, and he is aware of the debt he owes to the Jay Dillas, the MF Dooms, to the many jazz legends. I
As far as
Alice
I'm
Colt,
concerned,
yeah,
if there was
Alice
any debt to
Coltrane.
pay, the debt is paid in full.
Yeah, yes,
Easy.
and and really, man, fly, and thankfully, that attention he's been getting has just kind of kept on increasing. Your dad, stuff, and the without that masterpiece track he did with Kendrick Lamar, his continued work. I mean, I think he's directing movies now and stuff like that. And man, Lotus, man, please keep it up, man, keep it up. We need you, man. We need you.
The streets
You
need a
know,
Flying Lotus.
yes, we need audit. We need artists who just continue to have this depth of imagination, and also understanding the roots of things, but also how to evolve into the future. And Lotus has always been that in spades.
Okay, I'm gonna I'm just gonna keep it real. It's 3:22 in the morning. We're gonna get one last song off, and then we're gonna see y'all next time, probably in the back half of the month, and we'll finally be done
Mhm.
with this project. We have stretched it out as far as we can go. Like, call me Jesus with the five loaves and the two fish, because like we really know how to take an inch and like go several miles with like this incredible music. The last song we're gonna cover tonight is from Said the Whale. It's Jesse Arkansas. Like,
Ah,
around that, you played this song for me on Plug DJ one night, and I'm like, wow, like this is
yes,
such a very like upbeat and positive song that's kind of really fucking depressing, and like the art of storytelling
yes.
is alive and well. Like, tell me about this song and tell me about
Okay,
Said Whale.
okay. Set what's in keeping up with Set the Whale, another one of those lovely, lovely indie bands that came out late 2000s, early 2010s. Shout out to Canada. Yes, yes. Despite the song being called Jesse Arkansas, yes, the band's actually from Canada, and they even pointed it out. Like, this was us kind of like trying to show that,
Edmonton.
hey, yeah, we can appeal to the United States. And okay, I was stuck between two songs, for this and another song from Set the Whale, Loveless, which is a
Hmm.
very beautiful song. Also has one of the most adorable music videos ever created,
Uh-huh.
about like these two, clearly, like, I'm pretty sure they're not older than 6 years old, and like they're romancing courtship, and it's just them going on nice dates and stuff like that. I mean,
Mm,
there's a scene where they kind of get married, but they don't actually kiss. They high five, and once again, it's adorable. And
nice.
they have a kid of their own, but like,
Eh,
the kid, no, like it's just, he just magically appears. No, so it's like he's obviously older than them, and it's like he grows
that's
up
funny.
yeah, he grows up, and then he leaves for college, and then they're still
Uh-huh.
the same age,
They're still
but
6 years
they look
old.
old.
That's cute.
Once again, it's literally the most adorable music video ever created. But
That's funny.
Jesse Orchid, and also shout out to our mutual pal, Miss Boop, who I had also heard was is also a
Oh
fan
yeah,
of
this is our favorite band. Shout out to Boop.
Set the Whale, and just saying, Boop, I don't know what you're doing with your life right now. I'd love to talk to you sometime, but I don't know how things are with your partner. I'm sure they're so cool, but
They're
did
fine.
yeah, but yes, the day you and your partner decide to walk down the aisle, just saying, set Loveless by Set the Whale, just putting it out there. It's a good
That's
song to
funny.
play at a wedding.
That's so sweet.
Just putting it out there. I'm not asking for credit. Give credit to those guys. But but the day you walk down the aisle with your wonderful partner, who I've heard so many lovely things about, Loveless by Set the Whale. But this isn't about Loveless. It's about Jesse Arkansas. I
Which is
okay.
kind of ironic when you consider what you just said, like this, like the subject matter of the lyrics is kind of ironic because we have like this kind of like story told in reverse about homeboy who's just like sold my house, move across the border, meet
Yes.
somebody, do all the things you expect to do, but somehow like ruin everything. Like, explain that to me.
Yeah, and I think that's just what that's one thing I love about this song. It is, I think as people, we we try to connect with people. We try to be, we are so wrapped up in our, I guess, our kind of our loneliness at times, and trying to become these idealized people for potential other people, and sometimes it's like the lingering insecurities and everything that kind of come in wanting to be loved by another person. It unfortunately kind of, it even when things should work out, they just don't, and it's weird. And I don't know, it's weird. It's weird when, with, broken relationships. I can tell you my stories. um I don't know. It does. And I think what the song really captures is that when, just when things don't work out for Jesse and this person, in a way, he loses a bit of himself. Like, he no longer talks to his friends. He no longer really feels that closeness that was to that world that was so hard to is sadly lost again. And it just kind of, I don't know, it kind of speaks to, like, us, us as people, and our desires full of how we are continuously seeking and craving this thing, that it's like a Russian roulette. Like, it can build us up. It can really allow us to become the you know allow us to experience things that we've always longed for. But when it goes, it's like, man, you end up kind of mentally being in this dark place with yourself. And in spite of that, we keep on trying. And I think that's the thing about, once again, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to actually talk to Set the Whale. Is that I think Jesse's gonna kind of go back to that square one. He's probably gonna find another person. He's going to
And
be so
try again.
completely wrapped up with that person, and
But maybe
it's,
this
I
time
don't
it'll
know.
work out. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah, hey guys, you guys remember the ending of 500 Days of Summer, and
Yes.
how, which once, and like, and I respect that movie, but so much of that movie missed me when I was there, because I just, like,
It was apparently
I thought it
for me at
was,
the time, honestly.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool, but I'm not one of those. I liked the songs that came from the soundtrack, but I'm not one of those dudes who's like, oh man, 500 Days of Summer. That was, man, sorry, that wasn't me. But
I honestly I am, but like I believe that the mission, like the the purpose of the film met its mark with me. I didn't let that movie radicalize me in a negative way. At least maybe, well, certainly now it's blatantly obvious what the film intends, but
Yeah.
at the time it's like it was everything. It was everything I could have wanted at the time. It's like if maybe that's like a dude's favorite film, maybe
Mhm.
that's what's the word? It's like a red flag. But
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not gonna diss it. I'm not gonna diss it. I think it definitely has it. It definitely has its place in the culture, and I do think it's one of those. It's
pivotal.
one of it's yeah. It's one of those movies that like I'm not saying you should worship now, but it definitely has an important place in the conversation. It's like high.
And
It's
that's
like
all kind of fits into that
like
narrative.
yeah, yeah. It's like I don't know, like high fidelity, which was a very important book to me 10 years ago, but
Oh man,
like now I do think I need to like go back to it, but I need to go back with the perspective I have now, which is like, ah man,
I
I
think the
don't want to
reboot
be.
kind of saves like that
Yeah,
work from eternal damnation because I hear
yeah,
horrible things about like the movie. I didn't even know there was a book, but I feel like with like I attempted to get into like the reboot of it, and I love what it was giving because that's kind of my dream job. And I had a bit of that when I worked in the mall at the CD store, but then like
mhm,
it was so corporate, and
yeah,
thank God for all the indie and like a mom and pop level stores that like do the hard work of selling physical media because like that shit stresses me out. Selling things in order to like like keep my lights on freaks me out. I'm lucky to be in
yeah.
an industry where you and I both are in an industry where like folks who buy things, that's not even like concern because they'll always be there to buy the things, but then we have to do the work.
Yeah, yeah, and I did, and honestly, afterward, we'll probably go on a way bigger tangent about like that
Uh-huh.
whole culture and high
Uh-huh.
fidelity and all that stuff.
Death to capitalism.
But I think what Jesse Arkansas really catches is that
It's very happy go lucky.
yes, in simultaneously how like pursuing love, wanting to be loved, pursuing love, it's this just catch 22 because it's this catch 22 Russian roulette thing because it's this thing that can yes, it can bring the best out of us. It can bring the best out of ourselves. Shout out to certain people I know who once felt very lonely, but are now content in their relationships with partners who absolutely love them and have helped them evolve into being a better person. But scientifically, it's like, but when that love doesn't work out, when that love isn't even really allowed to happen, it's like there is that fear that you yourself will de-evolve, and I guess it's a fear that I have of myself. I have of myself of like my evolution or perhaps de-evolution in trying to find someone my own history. And I'm not naming anyone. I'm not going to name any
Hush,
names.
hush,
I love you.
hush.
To anyone, I wish all of you guys nine the best, but there's just that like, man, and obviously you can't depend on someone else for you to evolve. You can't, but it's like, but I think there's certain experiences in your life that are contingent on the people who you let into your life, and at the same time what those people like allow you to experience with them, that do help you like understand what your stuff can be in a different light. And I guess short answer is, love hurts, but it's also kind of cool, but it also hurts, but it's also pretty cool, but it
One thing
also
I'll
hurts.
say, one thing I'll say about this song
Yeah.
is how like, you know, Jesse goes on the trials and tribulations that we hear about in the lyrics,
Hmm.
and like there's the part where it's like his friends don't know where the heck he's gone. And one thing I can say about you is that like wherever love might take you, best believe it will be on your damn coattails. Like no one will ever have to wonder where the heck you are because I will always know.
Yeah.
I've got your
Yeah.
back. And like for everyone else who's listening who might identify with Jesse when you hear the song, it's like um when like you're going when you're taking like big like gambles and risks with love, you see to it that there are those there are those in your life who have who will help you build a solid foundation, a strong community that will like will ensure like your stability whether love works out for you or not. So with that, we are an hour and 30 minutes into this stream. We are going to, again like just like pick up the rest of the honorable mentions later at the end of the month. We are so thankful for those who listen to the whole thing. We have one listener live with us right now. We are so thankful for you. Thank you so very much.
Hmm.
If I may leave y'all with a few calls to action. Um, First and foremost, stay hydrated.
Hmm.
When you leave your home, please wear a mask over your nose and under your
Yeah.
mouth. If you really want to go for gusto, if you want to get extra credit, like wear two. If you can't
Yes,
afford
which I do.
K95s,
Which I do. Yeah.
wear one medical and one cloth, but never just one cloth. It's basically like useless to you now. I don't
Yeah.
care if like 70% of the mandates have gone away. We must be extra vigilant because we're not out of the pandemic yet. It's not over.
Hmm.
Please be safe as you move through the world. Um, Black Lives Matter, Queer Lives Matter, and especially trans lives. Trans lives matter.
Yes.
Um, if you are financially able, please support um, trans families and trans youth in Texas, Alabama, all over the American South,
Yes.
all over the world. Like,
Yes.
stand up for marginalized communities. If you're like a straight cishet person, like you can't claim to be an ally. Like, it's not for you to say. Just keep your mouth shut, learn more, and just like be extra vigilant. There are like what's so fucked up about the world is that we are like the marginalized groups are so far and few between. We're outnumbered by our enemies, but they fear us. They do everything they can to stop us, but they will lose, and we will be victorious.
Yes.
Um, Support art, support art, support art, support art. Like if you don't care about music and still happen to end up here, like fine art, film, like, TV, movies, dance, support art. Art is what got you through like the front half of this pandemic, and it's how we'll get through the rest of it for however long it may be. So yeah, that's about it from us. Like, make sure you're getting sleep, like eat something that you enjoy, be like, tell your body thank you, tell yourself that you love yourself, tell somebody else that you love them. And we'll hopefully see y'all very, very soon. Um, hey, Lord, it's a pleasure living abstraction. Please tell the people good morning.
Yes, morning, morning, and this I know daylight savings time has just begun. So look forward. Let this day and the months that come past. More daylights,
Under
more
the sun.
interactions with the sun. That's always a cool thing. And and once again, like Mr. Kennard said to the people in Texas, to the people in Florida, to the people in Alabama,
We have your back. We're here for you.
yes, we will oh I we will I will always we will always support you guys. Your existence matters. Your existence, and no government official that is clearly cannot get over whatever
Their own bigotry.
whatever institutional bigotry they can, no matter how, yeah, we're trying to get away from it, but they keep pushing back. We're gonna keep on fighting. And like, seriously, to Florida, to Texas, to Alabama, we love you, we love you guys. To the gay community, the trans community, it will always be love. And no matter what some governor or what a bunch of stuffy people in Congress think, your existence does not make you subhuman. I don't care what those laws say.
Laws are
You guys,
threats.
yes, you know,
To hell with the
you
law.
guys are golden people of this world, and it will always, for Mr. Kennard, to you guys, like,
Thank you.
it's
If
all
anything,
love.
thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Happy International Women's Month. And
Yes.
until next time, Godspeed. We're out of here.
What?